So for me, the tip that I wanted to bring today is actually to bring your pedagogy to the classroom, not just because you know what your pedagogy is, but rather to share your pedagogy with the students. Because when you share the pedagogy with the students, they really begin to be like, oh, that's what you're trying to do with this assignment, or oh, this is what I'm supposed to be focusing on as I work through an assessment, or why we're doing this particular conversation or having this particular conversation in the class. And so I'm going to give a couple of examples of the way that I would bring my pedagogy to the classroom, and to tell the class, this is why we're doing what we're going to do. So for me, the foundation of my pedagogy is around producing global citizens, and to take all the soft skills that we know that students get in their studies at the university, and for them to really be able to kind of hone in and understand, how am I supposed to take these skills that I have or that I'm developing and apply them to the world around me to make it a better place. So for one example, I teach a women and gender studies course on representations of parenthood. And in that class, we have the typical research paper that students can choose their topic and go off and do their research, which is all fine and dandy. And so they do their research skills, their communication skills, critical thinking, applying theoretical ideas and concepts, and they do all the typical work that we want them to do in a research paper. But then the other thing that I ask them to do is they then have to boil it down to a maximum 5-minute presentation for a non-specialist audience, so for a generalist audience. And everybody in the class is responsible for bringing 1 or 2 people to the class for presentations, 5-minute presentations on these papers. And the reason why I do this, and I tell them about this, is you get all of these complex, really great ideas, theoretical grounding within your studies and within the work that you do in the classroom. But then, you know, that's great for you and the work that you do, but how do you communicate it out to the world around you? And so I have them have to boil down these complex ideas that they've been working with and working through, and to present it to those who have absolutely no background, and to show them why it's important, why the way that they're analyzing it is critical to sort of improving people's lives and situations. So that's one example, and I have a number of other examples, and this one is based around historical empathy, because I think that's a really important skill that students in history get, and that is understanding things from someone else's perspective. And it's much easier to sort of do this if you're completely removed from the situation, you have no skin in the game. And so history is a really cool training ground for that, because, you know, nobody cares, really, you're not taking a side on, you know, I teach a course on the witch hunts. I mean, maybe you take a side on the witch hunts, but nobody really takes a side on, you know, youth culture and how they dealt with youthful disturbances and upset in the early modern world. And so what I have students do is I have them do assignments where they have to put themselves in the shoes of someone who lived during that time period. So we do a mock witch trial in my witch hunts class. In the Reformation world, they have to create a presentation of someone who has been deeply affected by the Reformation and explain to people why and how that's affected them. In my youth culture class, they have to understand sort of a youthful public event and what this meant for the world around them, and for their communities and how they influence their communities. And so in these particular types of assignments, they're not your typical history assignments, but what I'm really trying to get them to do, and I talk to them about this in the classroom, is I want you to hone into your historical empathy skills, because being an empathetic person and understanding where other people are coming from is a really important skill in the world. So that is my tip, is to make sure that you take your pedagogical goals, explain them to the class, why you're writing an assessment the way that you are, why your class is structured the way that it's structured, and then they really are like, oh, I get it, and they're in it with you. So that's my tip.